Joe. I'm Dora the Explorer. If you see Swiper, say Swiper, no swiping.
That gave me a feeling.
See?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We met at a party, and 15, 20 minutes into the conversation, we were like, so what do you do? Who are you? I haven't been stuck in my tracks. Like, I got hit by a bus
No.
when you told me that you are the voice of Dora.
Yeah, that's so flattering. I mean, for me, it's just like, oh yeah, Dora's just someone I played years ago.
But I guess you just don't really realize to meet her.
Yeah, and that she's not 7 and
Does that happen a lot when you run into people?
Yes and no. So I don't normally get stopped or recognized. A few more times now that I'm posting a lot more on social media, people have been like, "Oh, wait, I follow you." But also me being vocally or me telling people out loud like, "Oh yeah, this is who I am. This is what I do or what I've done," has been like a new thing for me, which is weird to say, right? But growing up as Dora, I think it made me kind of hide that part of myself for such a long time that now as an adult and I'm, back in the industry, I'm sure we'll get to all of those things, but my husband has really been pushing me to say it more and to be more confident and more appreciative of that part of my life, because I guess when I would tell people like who I was very socially awkward and like would say it in a way that was just like weird.
When you would tell people as a child?
No, just now, even as an adult, like just to say like, oh, hey, yeah, I was the original voice of Dora. Like even for me to say it like that, just so nonchalant, but so like, yeah, that's who I was. It's taken me a lot to get there. And I'm still trying to like dissect all the parts of like my childhood and my life, but just so you know, for me to say that and be like, yeah, that's who I am. It's taken a lot.
When did you realize how big of an impact Dora really had?
I would say like fully understand probably only a few years ago when I started doing conventions and meeting people, 20 plus years later after I left the show. And to see that people were still impacted, would cry when they would hear me do the Dora voice, would tell me stories of them watching the show with their families and all those core memories, like with the show and with me, right? It really put like everything into perspective. Because I think as a kid, you know what you're doing, but you don't really understand the magnitude of what's happening,
Because you're doing all these toys, figures,
everything.
Video games, TV shows. Yeah. You're kind of just going through it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you processing the reach that it has?
Yes. And how relevant it still is. And I think with everything that has happened, right, socially and politically within the past few years, that has also like magnified everything too. And of course, when Dora came out, right, she was a pioneer. She was the leader of, a Latina heroine in a children's programming TV show on Nickelodeon, right? That was already a huge thing. There wasn't a lot of that happening. Even on live action things, you weren't seeing that. So a lot of people that come up to me are like, hey, Dora was the only one that looked like me on TV. Like in the span of all children's programming, which to me is like, that's not great, but also I'm happy they had someone that they could say, hey, she looks like me. And like, want to dress up like her at school, even though they would get made fun of. They didn't care because Dora was so close to them and meant so much to them that they were going to do that.
When Dora first came out, was there a big push? Did it hit the audiences right away?
I think it did. And it was unexpected, I think, to Nickelodeon and to a lot of people like behind the scenes. Initially, from what I understand now, Dora wasn't supposed to be Latina. She wasn't even supposed to be a girl. I think there were some iterations of her being like an animal.
Was she supposed to be like a ferret or something?
I think so, like a bunny or something, a rabbit, some sort of animal. But one of the executive producers, Brown Johnson, I'm not sure if it was a conference or something that she was a part of and understood that this was something that was missing within the entertainment industry, within children's programming. And there was a need for it and a want to have that. And the Latin community was so big, right? She was like, no, we need to change her. And I think that just started the catalyst of that change within the show. And it didn't get picked up the first time because I worked on the pilot.
You were the original
I
voice
was
in the pilot.
yes. Me and I think the voice of Boots also. I want to say maybe they had casted someone before him, but I'm not. I don't really remember. It was a long time ago.
I was 7.
Yeah, but it was me, and then the voice of Boots at the time, Harrison Chad. He was also there. We worked on the pilot, and it wasn't picked up the first time. And
Did the pilot cost $500,000?
Oh, I don't know about that. No,
I read
don't know.
online that it was very costly.
Perhaps. That's new news to me. And that's also another thing. Like, nobody tells you like unless I went out and
Sought the information.
yeah, sought the information or like asked the creators now, like, hey, did that really happen? But yeah, I have no idea. But I'm sure, I mean, the animation was, I mean, if you look at it now, it's probably, it's 2D, it's not new and CGI or whatever. But back then, I'm sure it was amazing for what it was. But anyway, so it got picked up the second time, and I mean, it went global. Like, it's crazy how many countries the show is dubbed in, and it all kind of happened really fast. Because I remember the show aired when I was 10, so that was in 2000, and I started working on it in 97. So it took a few years. And then I remember at least by like 12 years old, I was getting interviewed on a lot of different shows. Like, I think Donnie Deutsch I was interviewed. Like, I don't even know why. I was on a lot of Hispanic networks also. I was getting interviewed. And that was also weird because, back then there weren't a lot of press for voice actors or, the voice behind these animated shows as much as there are now. And I was a kid too. So on top of that, for me to be getting requests to be interviewed, that was also new for Nickelodeon. So, but there I was out there.
During those 3 years of when the Dora pilot came out
Yeah.
to finally being picked up, are you secure? Are you Dora? You're part of the team?
Yeah, I mean, from what I knew, so my mom and I were very new to the industry. My mom, she immigrated from Peru, pretty young, like 16, but she was probably at the time, she had me when she was 24, so like early 30s. But this is all new to her. She doesn't know. I mean, we know Nickelodeon, right? Because we watch TV and it's huge.
But the acting industry
But
is
the acting
different.
industry, we had no idea. So, I mean, thankfully, I had a manager, I had an agent, and I had people within Nickelodeon on the team kind of hand holding us throughout the whole process. And my mom was always a great advocate for me and always asking questions. But it was a learning experience. So we kind of said yes for the opportunity, not because we knew where it would go, what it would mean for me later down the line. It was just, hey, we're available. We want to do it, and we'll see where it goes. And there were a lot of late nights. I don't even remember what we were doing, what we were recording, if they were like in real time changing lines and having us re-record. I'm not really sure. But I know we would record after school, go to the studio on Christopher Street, and, just constantly work on the show. So
You're a child doing a child show, which was pretty rare for a voice actor, right?
Back then, yes.
Because they normally would have an adult.
Correct. And I don't know if we were one of the first shows to have an all kids cast, maybe for Nickelodeon, because I know after that, then there was Ni Hao Kai Lan, there was the Backyardigans. So I don't know if before that, if there was another all kids cast on Nickelodeon or on another network. I'm not sure. I would have to research that. I have a lot to research after this.
I feel like you're really stepping into the world of Dora and uncovering all these different stones from the past.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't think about that stuff. As a kid, I'm like, okay, after school, I have to go here. And then, like, I have to do homework and I have to do you're all of these different things growing up and trying to figure out who you are. I don't think questioning how much does this cost or all of those little details within the industry doesn't really cross your mind unless someone's really telling you, hey, you need to know this.
Are you getting recognized as being Dora during that time?
No, not really. If anything, I would get recognized by other adults who were watching the interviews that I was on because they were more like adult
That's where your
shows.
face is shown.
Yes, or in the newspaper, which is very foreign, I'm sure, to a lot of people now. But I was in the newspaper a lot of times, magazines. So if people would read those, then they would recognize me. Hey, I saw you in this magazine or whatever.
How did Nickelodeon treat your show? Because you're
Yeah.
taking over. You explode.
Yeah. I mean, it was my priority in in every area of my life. Like Dora, after school, of course, like my time was for Dora for the show. And not in a bad way. It was just it was taking off, and I was doing the voice for the games, for the toys, for the specials, for promos. And I know it's not really the same nowadays. They get other people to do all of those things, but I was doing Dora's voice everywhere.
You were every single Dora doll, toy, video
hmm
game.
Yeah. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And then we were doing appearances too. It was really nice. I wasn't just doing appearances anywhere. They were family oriented events, which I really, looking back now, I thought it was very smart. And like all over. My mom and I would travel with them, and they would send someone with me, and I would meet other families. Whether we went to schools, we went to there were Latina book and family festivals like all around the U.S. that we went to, and I read to kids. I signed autographs, like so. I was doing a lot of that shortly after the show aired, but I loved it. There was a lot of time. It feels like it was so long ago. Um, but I did so much with the show, and they really, I think they really handled it well. They handled me and my mom very well. We always felt safe. We always felt like they had our best interests at hand, and everything we did made sense.
How do you discover the voice of Dora? Because it's essentially your voice.
Yes.
As you're growing older, do you have to tune yourself down?
No, I would say it's probably more up. So I have a naturally higher pitched or tone voice, but at 7, that was just
Regular.
regular Kathleen at 7 years old. I mean, probably like more performative, right? When you're acting or you're performing, you change things a little bit.
Like you knew to tune it up, like
Yeah.
for the camera.
Yeah, exactly. But that was basically my voice. And I used to joke, I was like, oh, that's why my brother and I used to fight all the time, because my voice is probably just so annoying.
Would you live
But-
as Dora outside of the show? Would you do what she would do to your family?
No. I think it's so funny because in a lot of ways I am like Dora in a sense of I don't mind asking people for help. I love doing new things. I love, I'm spontaneous. But I think I am a little more reserved outside of that, and outside of even acting. I'm more just to myself. So, and maybe in a lot of ways that we're so opposite too. Like I'm not, if I'm at home, I'm just chilling in my room, watching a TV or movie, or, you know, doing something, but just very tame.
Were you watching the show too and understanding the impact that it had on kids?
Yes and no. So I would watch sometimes. I remember watching it premiere on TV. And I remember watching it for the first time because we hadn't seen it really. I think we saw it at the premiere party. But seeing it at home on your TV, I feel like is like so different. And I remember being at home in my living room watching, the first opening, like, hi, I'm Dora. And just like tears coming down my eyes. I'm like, and I'm like 10 years old. I don't think I really understood, like, hey, that's me. That's my voice. Like, it's such like a surreal thing. Even I feel like with voiceover, right? Because you don't see yourself, but you hear yourself and you know that's you. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of like a different trip.
It's a very trippy feeling because I
Yeah.
made a commercial for a music festival once,
Okay.
and I'm editing it on my computer. And
Yeah.
there's like weeks later, I'm laying on my bed, and I
You
hear
hear
it
it?
on the TV.
It's so cool.
And it's so trippy to know that it started there. So to know
Yeah.
that it started here,
hmm
were you chasing that dream for a while? Were you going out on a lot of auditions?
No. So I started off doing pageants and modeling with my mom. This is how it all started. My mom was the little girl. I have an older brother, but I was the second child, a
Was he
girl.
doing this too?
No, but I'll get into that. So, my mom was just like, "Oh, let's go do something." She wasn't working at the time. So she's like, "Let's put you in pageants and modeling," and she would dress me up and do all the stuff, and I was just good at it. I took direction well. I learned quickly. especially with pageants, you're in rooms all the time doing interviews at such a young age and being with adults by yourself and not having that intimidate you.
So you're just an emotionally mature kid.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know if I am, but
I'm
I
going to teach
guess.
generations
Yeah,
to come.
exactly. That wasn't on my mind, but I was just, doing what I was told, basically. And I think that just kind of led into me booking a manager, getting a manager, or scouted out by a manager. And then that led me getting an agent and then started going out on auditions. And, they teach you how to audition, what happens in the room, and all that stuff.
TV auditions,
TV auditions,
commercials.
commercials, print, everything. I
Are
was
you
doing
landing
everything.
those too?
A few, yeah. But Dora was one of like the big first auditions that I went on because I started doing pageants at 5, and then it wasn't much later that I got a manager and agent. It was probably like around 6.5, maybe right before I booked Dora. So it was kind of really fast,
So
everything that was happening.
people saw the talent that you had. You were able to do
Yeah.
this.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
When the audition for Dora comes in, is that just a regular audition
Yeah.
or is it promising to be this big Nickelodeon
No,
show?
regular audition. Yep. I remember going up there, and it was a bunch of little girls auditioning for this part. And I think they did say, like, we don't know where it's going to go. It was for a pilot show. And that's all we knew.
And were you bilingual at that time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My grandmother, she only spoke Spanish. So I would speak in Spanish with her, but not with my parents. And there's a reason, because my older brother, when he was born, they would only talk to him in Spanish. And when he started school, he started having, comprehension issues and trying to figure out English versus Spanish, all that stuff. So when I was born, they were like, okay, we're not going to do that with her. We'll speak to her in English so that she can not have as many issues in school. And then I would just talk strictly in Spanish to my grandma. So I'm not as fluent as my brother, but I can understand everything pretty well. And speaking is a little hard. I'm not 100% there yet, but yeah, that's where I am.
When did Dora get looped in with Sesame Street and Barney and become this icon in culture?
I'm not really sure. I feel like everything kind of happened really fast. And when Dora came out, like I said, it was kind of groundbreaking in a sense of, she is Latina. She's not introducing, but kind of opening up, right, the Hispanic culture and the Latino culture, and like, hey, like, I'm Latina and I could be a leader. I'm bilingual. I'm all of these things. And she resonated with not just the Latino community, but with other communities as well. And I think it just opened that part of like, hey, she's doing it. It could happen for all. It could be a ripple effect for other cultures and other shows and other possibilities to happen. And I think that's what made her so great in the beginning. And I think even now, like, she still resonates with so many people. And people who grew up with Dora are now having kids, and now they're showing Dora to their kids. So kind of just, she's going to live on forever, I feel like.
When you're at these cons and these little kids are
Yeah.
coming up to you, how do
Yeah.
you process it? It's adorable.
Yeah, it's so cute. And it's different, right, than if I were approaching an adult. Kids, they're still kids. So, I play with them, or like I kneel down to them and I'm like, hi, like, what's your name? Like, do you know who that is? I usually have like merch on my table. Because right, if I'm like, hey, I'm Dora, they're gonna be like, wait, what?
No
Like,
way. You're not
yeah,
Dora.
they're like, what are you talking about? And they're not even gonna like look at me. So I try to like point to things that they'll recognize and be like, do you know who that is? Do you know who her friend Boots is? Like, I try to like, create this scenario for them to kind of like maybe understand a little bit of who I am, or once I start talking like Dora, trying not to scare them or like freak them out too much, because that has happened to me before in my life. So yeah, I just try to open up that world to them. And then I usually ask them to close their eyes. Sometimes they don't. They just pull their hands down, and then I'm like, okay, well, now they see me and they hear me, so it's fine. But normally I ask people to close their eyes and picture Dora so that it doesn't ruin that wall, I guess. And you don't know my face. So if you're looking at me, I feel like that will distract you from the sounds that are coming out of my mouth. So if I have you close your eyes and you hear the voice, a memory will come up, or a picture of Dora will come up, or it'll trigger something else. And that's usually my goal for kids and adults. But for kids, normally I slowly get them there.
Do you have a
To
go-to
maybe
line when you're talking to these kids?
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Dora, or swipe or no swiping. I'll
Can
do
we,
it.
can we try this? I'm going to
Yeah.
close my eyes.
Okay, close your eyes.
Okay. Where?
And then I ask, what's your name? But I know your name. It's
Joe.
Joe. Okay. Close your eyes. Your eyes are closed. Perfect. Hola, Joe. I'm Dora the Explorer. If you see Swiper, say Swiper, no swiping.
That gave me a feeling.
See?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's usually what I say most of the time. And then if they want me to keep going, I'll sing a song or I'll say other things. But
How do you, again, how do you think you sound now today compared to the original when you first signed on?
So I've watched season 1, episode 1, and I don't think I sound like 100%. Like I sound very little.
Like a kid.
Yeah. I mean, if I practice, I could probably get closer. But from season like 3 or 4, I still sound, to me, I sound spot on.
Where were you in life when it was time to move on from Dora? Were you ready to leave it in the past?
Yes. I was graduating high school, going into college.
Are you homeschooled?
No.
You're in public school.
Yeah, I was in public school.
You're
which was like a
Dora
whole
and you're in
nother
public
thing.
school.
Oh, yeah.
How do people treat you?
Like 50-50. Yeah, school
50-50.
school was like a whole nother whirlwind. I started off going to private school when I was living in Queens. And then we moved when I was in 6th grade, so maybe a few years after Dora aired, 2 years or so. Moved to Long Island.
Where in Long Island?
Deer Park.
Oh,
I don't know if I've said this story. I've said this story on a con. I haven't said it on a podcast.
let's hear it.
So before we moved, I went to a public school that was right across the street from my house because to pay for a whole year of private school didn't make sense. And when people started finding out who I was, and the kids, they just make fun of you. It wasn't any I don't think there was any malintent. It was just kids being kids, and I'm a voice of a kids show, and they didn't really understand what was going. So they would just kind of make fun of me or not think it was like cool or whatever. So I just didn't want to tell anybody like who I was, or because to me it was a job and I loved doing it, but I didn't want people to think I was telling them like, hey, I'm telling you this so you can think I'm cool. Like, no, like I just want it to be something that I do outside and for me and for my family, I guess. So when we moved, I told my mom, I was like, I don't want anyone to know. I don't want to tell anybody. And I would probably leave school early sometimes because, Long Island to Manhattan, that trek could be a lot. But other than that, I was like, no one's really going to know. Like I leave school early. It could be for anything. It's fine. So my mom had talked to the school and the guidance counselor like, hey, like obviously they need to know, right, what I do. But if you could please like make sure it stays within the staff and like so no one else can know because she kind of wants to keep it private. So my first day,
Oh, God.
the guidance counselor walks me to homeroom and I hear her telling the teacher. But while she's telling the teacher, there's a student there. So the student hears everything. And me, right, because I'm more reserved, more shy, I'm like looking at the guidance counselor and looking at the student. I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. What I have tried to avoid on the first day, mind you, in 6th grade, which 6th grade is like horrible. Middle school I didn't love at all. And middle of the school year. And I'm like, oh, why is this happening? So immediately the student goes back to the classroom and starts telling one person, tells another person. And that was the end of me trying to keep it a secret.
These teachers have no self-awareness of what's going on.
So, which is fine, whatever. I guess it could have came out in other ways, but.
So then do kids immediately start teasing you?
Yeah, teasing me, but it wasn't like, I wasn't getting bullied, but it's just like, it's something you don't want to hear. And like, you're just trying to go to school and then after school, you got to go to work. Like you just have a lot on your plate and it's like not something, it's just uncomfortable. It's just annoying.
That's crazy that you're this global phenomenon and you're just trying to live this normal life in Deer Park, Long Island. That is mind blowing.
Yeah. But also, right, I didn't even have that mindset. Like, this show is like huge, like, like, and just like, I'm just a kid, just trying to be a kid and doing this like thing, that
But
kind
don't
of,
you realize that this show is on while you're in school teaching kids around the world?
yeah, I don't know if that like crossed my mind at all. Like, I'm like, oh, I have, all these, I have a new like, classes. I have this like sheet of things that I have to do. Like,
I
I
have to
don't
get
know.
the science
Yeah.
in third period.
Yeah. Like, it's just crazy. And I have, one of my closest friends that I've had since sixth grade. It's so funny, like, she didn't believe me at all. She's like, "No, you're lying. You don't even do that. Like, that's not even a real thing." And, like, she was like she was, like, so against me. And now, I mean, we've been friends now for, like, 30 plus years. But I always remember that, like, she was just, like, not having it. She was like, "Whatever."
That's so
So,
funny. Your name's on the credits in the title,
oh,
right?
yeah, right in the beginning. Yeah. So, it's fine. But, I don't know. It's like it's a weird thing, I guess, when you're a kid, especially voice acting. Like, I did on-camera jobs as well, but not to the extent of, like, I wasn't like a Disney Channel star or Nickelodeon star where, like, I feel like more kids and people had recognized, "Oh, yeah, like, you're an actor. You're doing, like, all this stuff."
Like the live action.
Yeah, like live action things. Um, I was just voiceover.
It's such an interesting
It's different.
position because you're a kid on a kid's show doing it,
Yeah.
but it's just your voice, which is
Mhm.
so not the norm.
Right. And I was being treated like, probably maybe I don't know, like I was getting picked up by cars, I was getting schedules, like I wasn't taking the train into the city until I think a lot later just cuz it was just easier for me to take the train cuz sitting in traffic, I would get car sick, so I was like, "No, I'm just taking the train. I don't want to be picked up by a car
To
anymore."
go do the voiceover?
Yeah, to go into the studio. But for a long time, like they would send cars to pick me up, whether from school or my house, and like it never made me feel like better or, superior to anybody. I never was that type of person. But looking back, right, I did live a life of like a celebrity, but I never thought myself of that type of person.
How'd that not get to you at that point?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume it's due to my family. Maybe my brother always,
Knocking you
reminding me who
down.
I am.
Loser.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be like a combination of things, but I think my mom especially, she always made sure I knew, of course I'm doing great things, but at the end of the day, like I have a job to do, so I have to always be professional. I have to always be nice to people. Um, and I'm not better than it. Like I'm just a person, doing a job. Yeah, I'm doing great things, and these are great things, but it doesn't make me any better than anybody else.
Even the network's not giving you things and
Hmm.
feeding you these crazy experiences that get to
No,
your head.
not really. I mean, maybe I'd have moments, right, where like if I don't know, like if I didn't get something that, well, who knows, like a food delivery order or something, and I'm like, oh, I didn't have that. Like maybe I would freak. I don't know, like little things, but I don't have any memories of me, you know, acting out or like being a diva. I mean, maybe as like a kid to my parents, but like other than that, I don't. I don't think so. Sorry, I have so many bobby pins in my hair now.
Oh,
It's
no
falling
worries.
out.
When you're in your third season of Dora the Explorer, what studios are you going to? Are these this big, massive Hollywood things that you expect?
No, no. We actually switched studios a few times, but mostly the engineers and the directors, the voice directors, booth directors are all the same, and they all came with me. Um, there was one woman, her name was Angela. She was always there. And even when I was on the reboot, she was still at the at the studio, and it's just always nice to have like a friendly face. But they were just studios in New York City. The first one was on Christopher Street. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Then there was one, I think it was a little bit short-lived by Grand Central, and then there was another one kind of by Radio City.
How does the reboot come to you? Because you step out of the role of
Yes.
Dora and now you come back
Yes.
into it all these years later.
Yeah. So after Dora, went to college, and after college was trying to
You went to
really
Pace?
I went to Pace University,
I
yeah.
tried going there. They denied
No?
me.
No!
Yeah, we could have been friends.
What? Wait, the one in the city or the one in Westchester?
It's Long Island or the city, right? Oh, no, the city. The one in the
Yes,
city.
the one by the Brooklyn Bridge?
I think so.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Is that where you went?
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
If they let me in, they should have let you.
Turn me down.
It's wild. I actually tried to go to NYU.
So did I. Tish.
Yes.
They turned me down.
They turned me down.
Yep. Could have been friends
Crazy.
there.
We could have been so many opportunities. That's crazy. Yeah, my SAT scores weren't high enough.
Did you go in and do the tour?
No, I didn't even get there. I had to submit, I did my audition and did that. And then they were like, yeah, well, she's great, but her SAT scores. I was like, okay.
All
I was
right.
like, sure. I was like, just tell me I'm the worst. It's fine. But yeah, I didn't even get a tour. What's a tour?
It was just like an intro ceremony to see if you liked the school. And I was like, yeah, this is great.
And then they turn you down?
Turned me down.
That's like such a tease.
And now I meet everybody here who's like, I went to Tish. I'm like, I didn't.
But look at us.
Yeah, look at us. Sorry. So you come back into the role of Dora.
Yeah. Into mommy.
Sorry.
I play Dora's mom.
You come back into the world of Dora.
The world of Dora, yes. Okay, so yeah, I went to Pace University, and then I was doing everything, taking acting classes and just trying to perfect that craft, but also trying to focus on camera. And my I don't love school. Homework, like, it just turns me off. So I knew I wanted to go to college because I was the first one in my family to graduate college. So I knew I wanted to do that, but I didn't want to be there. So I wanted to finish it as fast as possible. So I finished a semester early, and I wanted to go to LA. I came to LA, try to see what I can do, get an LA agent, because back then there wasn't a lot of crossover between New York and LA. So I did all of that. It went well, didn't go well. We can go into that story maybe later, but I ended up not moving. They wanted me to move. I wasn't ready to move. So that kind of like put a damper on everything for me. And I think I lost my passion for that, just for the industry and not knowing exactly where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, maybe not even sure who I was as a person. So it was a very dark time.
That's
that
crazy
time of my
because
life. Yeah.
you're Dora.
Yeah, but I also didn't have a next step after that. For me, it was just, college. I'm just gonna focus on that. But career wise or creative wise, there was no path really. I don't know. I can't even remember what was discussed or what was happening. So all I remembered was like, nope, going to college, and that was kind of it. I don't know. So I felt lost for a few years. And then I moved into the city just to get out of my house and move into Manhattan. And where am I going with this?
When you come back to Dora.
Oh, right. Okay. We don't need to know about that. That's fine. So after college, then all that happens. I kind of lost my passion. And I was like, you know what? I want a steady life. I don't want to be working 3 jobs trying to figure out, an acting role. I landed a few jobs, but it was voiceover. It wasn't on camera. So I was like, I don't know. I can't do this anymore. I need a steady job. So then I started working in Equinox Corporate, and that kind of led into like my career in design, interior design, and project management. So I did that for a good 10 years, and I loved it. I found something that I was good at. And during COVID, I lost my job, and I had just gotten married. So that was rough. So I was like, wow. Thankfully, my husband, his job was secure, but still, like, we're 2 newlyweds. Like, we need to both have an income. So I was like trying to figure out every possible way I can have opportunities. So I was like, let me see if I can start auditioning again, because I heard people were auditioning from home. So I called my old manager. I'm like, hey, do you think you guys would pick me back up? Like, I can record from home. Like, this is my situation. They were like, yeah, sure. So I started auditioning from home. And at first I got a audition for Issa, and I ended up not submitting for Issa. Thankfully, because whoever got cast as Issa, she's brilliant. She's amazing. But that put in my mind, I was like, they're bringing back Dora. They're doing a Dora reboot. And they were already doing some reboots. Like, we were in that time already. So I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And I'm like, has it really been that long for there to be a reboot? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Like, it's been like 20 something years. And I was like, well, I'm old. So whatever. So I kind of left it. I was like, if it's going to happen, it's not going to happen with me. But then I got the audition to play her mom. And then I remember reading it, and I was like, no, this is something that I could be happy doing. Like, this feels really good.
Did the audition come to you?
Yeah, as a regular audition. No, I don't think it was because they requested me to do it.
It just came in.
Yeah, I don't think they specifically asked for me, because usually they tell you like, "Hey, they asked for you to read this." Like, I think it just came in as a normal audition because I got the ISA one not too long before. So I read for it, and normally, right, you kind of just do an audition. It's out in the world, and you kind of forget about it. You hear about it, you don't hear about it, whatever. But this one, I was like, no, this has to be in the cards for me. So I kept emailing my manager because I'm annoying. And like every 2 weeks, did you hear back? Did you hear back? Because obviously, right, I kind of have an in. I was Dora. Like, there should be at least some type of communication, right, to let me know if I got it or if I didn't get it.
You
right?
were involved in
Courtesy,
some kind of
right?
way.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't think that's something like crazy to ask. Like, if I didn't get it, that's fine. Just can you tell me, please? But and so at this time, I was working at a interior design firm, a private firm. Loved my job. I was sitting at my desk, and like 2.5 months later, after I submitted the audition, and I get a call from my manager, and I go into the phone booth in the office, and he's like, "You got it," and I was like, "No." Like, it to me, to be a part of that show twice, even though it's a reboot and people were coming back, but it's not a sure thing. There's never a sure thing within this industry. So for me to get that call again, it felt so special to me. And like, it was surreal. I'm like, wow, like, to get a yes is like insane. Like, you're just like, oh my God, like, it feels like you found the golden ticket in the Willy Wonka chocolate bar, So I was just like so happy and to be back in the show. And then after that, right, when things start settling in and, I wasn't going to quit my job. I was going to try to do both. And they were very accommodating. They're like, yeah, that's fine. We'll just, work with your schedule whenever you can make it work. Um, but then before I go in, like, all of those feelings of insecurities and things from when I was a kid started to come up. And
Did you think they were going to come up?
no, I don't even think it crossed my mind. But I really had to sit down with myself and be like, okay, it's totally different. I'm an adult now. I'm married to an amazing person. Like, he's so supportive.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's right. He's awesome.
He's
and
the
like,
man.
he's not my parents. He's not, I'm not in that same, I'm not saying that they're horrible people in my family, but the dynamics are just different. I'm in a different space in my life. And it was just something I had to process that I didn't know I needed to process. Because I could talk to you for hours about like my mindset and all these things of being a child actor, right? Even though it was just voice acting and kind of all of that. So it was a little rough to kind of process it, but also understand like, hey, I'm a different person now too. And I'm not playing Dora. I'm playing a new character, which is also something new and exciting for me too. But then it's like, okay, well, how do I do that? But then I had to tell myself, well, I did it. I did it in the audition. I submitted something. I already did the work. I booked the job. Like, all I have to do is go in and do what I know how to do. But then also, like, do I remember to do like all of that? I don't know. So I remember stepping into the booth in a studio I was familiar with. The faces were still familiar. So I got to, like, meet all these people and hug them and, catch up. And I remember immediately when I walked into the booth, like, I just felt a sense of peace. I'm going to cry. I'm such a crier. I'm so emotional. But I forgot how safe I felt in the booth. And it's like such a weird thing to say. And I guess because of all the things that I've been telling you, right? I was just such a shy and more reserved kid. But like in the booth, I was able to just be, this opposite person for me and like really like show all of this energy and be out there and sing and do all of these fun things. And when all that came back, that also immediately helped me realize like, wow, this meant a lot more to me than I ever knew or ever even realized. So I'm sorry, that was the start of like my full circle moment. And I say that all the time, and people ask me, like, oh, wow, what a full circle moment. But like, I really feel like people don't really understand, like, it really is like such a healing full circle moment for me in my life that I didn't even know I needed. So for this to happen and for me to be a part of the show as, mommy, Dora's mom, it really like healed me in so many ways. And I think that's what helped me see the impact and the importance of this show. And it was so much bigger than I could ever have imagined. And all the fans and the people that I've met at cons like helped me realize that too. But yeah, it all started in that booth. It's crazy.
It's coming
Crazy.
back home to
Yeah.
where everything began.
Yeah. Really wild. Because my first experiences right in the industry wasn't on a set. It was in the booth. That was my life as an actor, was mostly in the booth.
Working with adults, making magic
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. And a lot of times alone. Like, we had sessions with the entire cast in the beginning for like the intro song, Dora, Dora, Dora the Explorer. But after that, it went down to just me and the voice of Boots, Harrison Chad, and then after that, it was just me, and obviously all the adults and the people on the team.
Is that just the way that it works? The
Yeah.
scheduling?
No, I think because I didn't, you don't really have to record with other people. And we were getting older. So when I was recording with Boots, it was because we were getting tutored. And I was spending days there. So 3 days out of the week, I was in the booth all day with a tutor. And when Harrison was recording, I was being tutored. And then we would switch.
Being a child voice actor, do you have the same rules as live action child actors?
I don't know.
Are you allowed to be in the booth for a certain amount of hours a day?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I assume so because that's why we had to have a tutor there because we were there for like a work day, like 9 to whatever. So, but then the other 2 days of the week, I was going to public school. But that's crazy. Like out of weeks, I was going to school 2 days a week. Like there's no way to make connections or like to be present and to like have it make sense. Like it was just a weird situation.
It's crazy how normal you came out of such a phenomenal situation.
Crazy. Wait, you think I'm normal?
100%. Because at that dinner, we got placed at complete opposite sides. My wife and I were like, wow, I can't believe we're not sitting near them.
I'm like, oh, you think I'm normal? Wow, thank you. No, for sure. I definitely think, I mean, I have my flaws and I have a lot of things that I have worked through therapy the past like few years. And I could have been in a different situation for sure if I did allow my mind to take me, for not just because of Dora, but for other things. And but yeah, I feel like I'm in a good place for sure.
When you're voicing Dora, is there a lot of challenges as a child voice actor? Are there days where you just can't do it?
Yeah, I would say I wasn't in it or tired or maybe lazy. I'm putting quotes on that because I don't know if it was laziness. Maybe it's just like, I'm just so tired. Like, I don't feel like doing this right now because I'm a kid, and I definitely had those moments. I remember this one moment. Oh, Lord, and help me. We would do these toys, and there was a lot of personalized things happening during the time of Dora, which other shows are doing too, where like, oh, if it's your birthday, you can like customize a message, but like your kid's face can be on a cartoon and like all these like random things. But then there were toys too that were personalized. So we would have to record all of these names. I would have to say all of these names. I think one toy had over like 800 names or whatever crazy amount.
Do you remember what you were saying? Like,
Yeah, it was a little thing. So like I think I said
could you
this
do it in the
somewhere else.
voice?
But yeah. So like Joe, right? If the line was "Happy birthday, Joe," like that's one line, right? Amongst many lines. But I have to change that name every time. So instead of me saying "Happy birthday, Joe," "Happy birthday, Melissa," instead of saying all "Happy birthday" like however many times, I would say the name in that same inflection. So Joe, Melissa, Bradley, Ashley, like all these different ways. But going down a list I would like they would be like, "Okay, wait, we gotta go back," and then I would have to do the happy birthday because I would lose the inflection, or it was just a lot to do, but, over and over and over,
What were the other
and, like
toughest ones? Were the video games hard?
no, 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 I think that was it, and it's not even hard, right? It's just, like, tedious things and, like, after a full day of school, and then you're going into the booth and you're just saying names. I mean, it's not creatively like, "Oh, this is so fun." Like, I'm really getting my acting.
You're not being fulfilled.
You're not. No. So, like, I mean, also, like, it's not a big problem to have, right? I'm saying names. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing. I should be there, and I'm happy to be there. But these are just real things. Like, I'm a kid. I'm a teenager. I'm in the booth, and I think, so I remember during that session, I just wanted, like, a break, or I was just like, but, like, I'm also the person, and I grew up in, like, an era, I feel like, where you couldn't say no, right? Or you couldn't say, like, I don't like, I need a break, you don't speak up for yourself as much. So, like, I would just start, like, coughing or, like, fake, like, or, like, just, like, fake, like, and, like, drink a lot of water, and then I would have to wait for them to be like, "Oh, do you need a break?" I'm like, "Actually, yeah, like, I need a break."
That's a good idea of yours.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yes, your idea, not mine, right? So, I definitely have done that a few times. But those are, like, little things. I mean, overall, I mean, it wasn't hard. I think too, as I got older, I had to be more aware of my voice. That was the only, like, hard part. Um, because if I wasn't paying attention, I could lose the tone, and I didn't sound 100% Dora. So that was what I had to make sure I was doing all the time.
At that time, there was no residuals on Nickelodeon for live action for kids TV, but there was residuals for animation.
Oh yeah, lots.
Did that fall for Dora?
Mhm.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, it was very great. I was a part of it at a really great time. Fortunately enough, I'm still getting residuals to this day for Dora, which is great.
From
So
all
thank you for everyone who's watching.
Do you get you don't get residuals from Dora in Peru and other countries that
No,
are
because those would be
different voice actors?
yes. And I don't know with dubbing. I know that's a whole different thing, so I'm not sure
When
how
when
that works.
when the Dora live action movie comes out, is there a big spike in
Yes.
those because people are rewatching the cartoon?
Um, yes and no. I think so. I think especially with the reboot happening, it brought Dora back, but also I've met a lot of people where their kids are okay with watching the original and the new one, which to me is surprising because I feel like when I was a kid, I was very specific in what if I was gonna watch one, I needed to watch one. But yeah, I feel like kids are like, yeah, I'll watch both. Yeah, they're both Dora to me. I love them, and I love that too. I think with streaming, it really gives you the opportunity to watch anything and watch everything. So I think with the reboot, it just kind of enhanced all of the past Dora episodes as well, because it's like, oh, I'm watching this Dora, but if I've watched all these episodes, there's still a lot more I can watch. So let me go back to the older seasons. So in that way, yeah, there kind of was a spike and a resurgence of all of that. So
You mentioned when you went back into the booth with Dora's mom,
yes,
you had a feeling.
yeah,
You also talked about that first time watching the show.
yeah.
Did you have that same feeling when you saw the reboot and your voice on it?
Maybe not as intense, but definitely a lot of joy because it was nice to see me as somebody else and not Dora. Because I think I was so stuck in like Dora that I wasn't able to see myself as other characters. And I'm capable and I'm able to do that. And that was the first time I was able to kind of see it and be like, hey, look, I'm somebody else. I'm mommy. And I'm singing and doing all of these other things still, but as a new character. And that gave me like joy and kind of the what I needed to feel and confidence and security in my talent and all of those things. So
What is it like for you when you're walking in a department store and you see a backpack with Dora?
oh, I love it.
Do you feel like, oh, I did that?
Maybe not for Backpack because Backpack. When I look at Backpack, I see the voice actor for Backpack, Sasha Toro. Well, the original. But I do see even the newer voice actors. Like I have met them also.
Sorry, I mean like a Dora backpack.
Oh, just like well, yeah, even her because to me, when I look at Backpack, she has a voice, and then I see the face behind the voice. So that's immediately where my mind goes. But overall, like if I see any like Dora related things, I'm like, oh, cool. Like that, I was a part of that. Like, and Dora was me once upon a time. But I also love that I also recognize there's so many other people who were Dora. And I love that. I'm very even with the new Dora, Diana. Like I've met her and she's just amazing and she's lovely and her mom is great and like I see her too when I look at Dora and like to me like there's like a Dora universe and like if we got all the Doras together, like if we did a Dora con, I feel like there's so many Doras between live action, between all of the dubbing and all of these different countries. Like amongst all of the characters, there's so many of us, and I'm like, this is so cool. Like how we're just, changing lives, teaching languages, teaching Spanish, teaching English. Like it's just so cool.
It's really
Yeah.
insane.
Like so when I see Dora products, my mind goes to that. Like now I see it all for what it is, like the bigger picture, the bigger impact.
Did you audition for Sesame Street?
I did multiple times.
And then when you got on,
Oh yeah, it was amazing. It was so cool.
did you understand what was happening? Because on TV you see the
Yeah.
characters, but then when you're in it, you see.
Oh yeah, they don't preface that too. I feel like right before I went on the stage or on the set, they tell you, they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, like there's people underneath the puppets."
No.
I felt like that's what it was for me. I mean, maybe it wasn't 100%, but I feel like I didn't know. I remember walking onto that set and looking at and like being like, "Wait, there's people underneath
Oh, that's so
the
funny.
puppets." And I had no idea. So like I had to make sure that I stopped staring down, that I was looking up.
Be appropriate.
Yeah, because to me I was like, "Wow, this is so cool." Like and weird. Like what? Like to me I didn't know that's how like puppeteering worked and how Sesame Street was run that way. For me, when you're watching it on TV, you think that it's just someone in a costume. But that was like just so cool to be there and to be a part of that. Sesame Street was huge for me. I loved Sesame Street. Um and I auditioned for it so many times and it was just to be one of the Sesame Street kids, right, on the thing. But I was able to be a part of it for a few episodes and even they brought me back like a few years later when I was older, so that was cool and I had I had 2 lines, I think. And there was a song that I sang on Sesame Street. It was the Coqui song. El coqui, a mí me encanta. I forget the words, but that song I also sang in the Dora show. So I thought that was kind of cool. There were like some parallels to what I was doing on Dora and then what I was doing on other shows. So
Did
I
you
love that.
Did you have a favorite Dora song?
Yes. So I have a favorite Dora episode. So I'm sure, as you could tell by my social media, I'm a Disney adult.
Really?
I'm obsessed.
I had no
Yes.
idea.
I'm there now that I live here in LA. I'm there like once a week.
Do you have a pass?
Yeah. When we moved here, I made sure we had a DMV appointment the next day to make sure I had my license.
So
I
you could get the California
annual
resident.
yes, and that when I go to the gate, I have because you have to show it to them.
Were you always into Disney even before?
Yes.
So where were you going? Six Flags? Deer Park has a theme park, no? What's that one up there in Long Island?
They what's it called? Adventureland.
Yes. Would you go there?
Yeah, but it kind of scares me a bit. Like it's not Disney.
Not Disney.
No, like those rides look a little scary.
What do you love about Disney?
So I was thinking about this in the car because I feel like it was gonna come out. And when I'm at Disney, and I've been, there's all these things about Disney adults on social media, but when I'm there, I really do think it ties back to growing up as a kid. There was so much chaos, whether within my family dynamic, with my schedule as Dora and school and all these things. When we went on family trips, it's like everything was peaceful. Everyone kind of played nice. Everything was good. And most of our trips were Disney trips. Like was our family yearly trip was a Disney trip.
Disney
And
World or Land?
Disney World. And my mom also growing up in Peru, you see Disney and you're like, oh, that's when I go to America, like that's where I want to go. I want to go to Disney, right? So like sparkly and that's where, the destination to go. So when my parents were here and they got married, my mom's like, honeymoon, I want to go to Disney. So that's where they honeymooned, and it kind of just started that catalyst of that's where we're gonna go. So all those memories and those feelings, and it was always Disney and Universal. We would always go to Universal at least one day if we were going down there, and we would drive, take a trailer, and do like that whole thing. But yeah, I think it just brings back all of those feelings and those memories, and every time I go, I just feel that. So I don't know. I don't want to let go of that. I
What's your
think
What's your favorite Disney food right now?
right now.
Or what's the best Disney food you've eaten?
I'm gonna give you a recent one because that's hard. Well, okay, number one, it's not food; it's technically a snack, but the Disney popcorn, and also like popcorn fiend. Like I could eat popcorn all day. The popcorn at Disney, I don't know what they're putting on it. It's top tier, A1. Like nothing can beat it. Have you had it?
I've never been a
Come on,
popcorn
Joe.
at a theater.
Yeah.
I like Ghirardelli Square, not really Disney, but
No.
the Ghirardelli chocolate brownie sundae,
Yes.
stacked.
I know it is good, and you can get mini versions of all the sundaes. Um, but yeah,
I'll try popcorn next time I
You
go.
have to. You have. It's just so good. At every Disney park too. I've been to the one in Tokyo, World Land. Like the popcorn is like you can't mess with Disney popcorn.
I'm a Disney churro guy. I'm a Disney Mickey ear ice cream
Well,
guy.
churros are only good in Disneyland. I feel like
Not at
Disney World.
why?
I don't know. There's just some. I don't know. They really know how to do the churros here.
Are you a Dole Whip girl?
Yeah, love Dole Whip. Any type of Dole Whip. All flavors. I love them. Yeah. What else? So I do love the food here in Disneyland. Like on the quick service things, there's not a lot of like sit down restaurants in Disneyland because I assume the space. Because in Disney World, there's so many restaurants, so you can sit down and do all of that stuff. So I think maybe because of that, they really have perfected or really try and like the food that you can get anywhere around the park. And one thing that I've tried recently, it was for, I think, Maurice's Treats. It's a cheesy garlic bread, and it has like a bratwurst or sausage like inside. So good. I was sharing it with my family, and I was so mad that I was sharing it. But I didn't go buy another one because we were eating all day. But that has been like my number one.
What's your
recently.
favorite ride there?
At Disneyland, probably Indiana Jones. And I know they're bringing it to Disney World, but yeah, I always need to ride that. Any time that I visited LA in the past, like that was like the ride I needed to go on.
Do you have Mickey ears?
I have a lot, yeah. Not a lot. There's some people that have a lot, but I probably will be collecting a lot more now that I'm so close and I can wear them more frequently. But yeah.
When you go to all these cons, you're
Yes.
Dora.
Yeah.
Who do you freak out about? Do you see Jim Cummings as
Oh
Winnie the
my
Pooh?
God. Yeah, everyone. I feel like I fangirl a lot. And I definitely had imposter syndrome when I first started going to cons. And it's a little daunting, right? Because when you go to a con, at least your first one, you're in the green room with all of these amazing actors, voice actors,
And you don't know who's gonna walk in.
you don't know who's gonna like, and it's wild. And you're like, oh, I'm here with these people. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, but my favorite saga series is The Lord of the Rings. Like, I can sit down and watch those with you right now, no problem. Just give me popcorn and a cherry Coke Zero. I'm good. So even the possibility like to meet them never crossed my mind until I saw I think only two of the hobbits were gonna be at a con. And I was like, wait, they do cons? Like, wait a minute, like this is crazy. And I had seen on social media that Elijah, Sam, and they were all doing cons together, but like 2 years before I started doing cons. I'm like, oh, what's the odds that they're all gonna do it again or whatever? And people were telling me like, yeah, I don't know if they're gonna all come back together and do cons together or whatever. So I'm like, okay. Then I had a con over Thanksgiving. I think it was like 2 years ago, and all four hobbits were gonna be there. So I'm like, wait, this is crazy. I was like, I need to meet them or take a picture. But it's so, they're the prices for these pictures. I mean, it's four of them. I mean, they're from the Lord of the Rings like crazy. So I had asked people, I was like, if there's any chance I could just like sneak in for 1 second and I'll just smile, take the picture and go. Like, I just want to say hi and meet them, whatever. Thankfully, it ended up happening. Like she literally texted me bless her, she's like, "Hey, come now. Like, you have to come right now." So, like, there was no one at my table, thankfully. I looked at my husband, I was like, "We have to leave right now." And I was traveling with my Dora doll. It's like a 4-foot child life-size doll. And my husband's like, "Do I bring the doll?" I was like, "Bring the doll." So now we're running across the convention floor with Reggie's with the Dora doll. And I can't even process like what's gonna happen right now, but I'm about to meet like the most amazing people that I've watched on the screen like too many times probably. But I go in and the first person I lock eyes with is Elijah Wood.
Real quick, would it blow your mind if I've never seen Lord of the Rings?
Joe, stop it. That I can't even. Why am I here right now?
Would it blow your mind? I tried
It should
watching
be
it.
a prerequisite for any interview that I do that you must watch The Lord of the Rings.
I tried watching it maybe a year ago.
What do you mean you tried?
I put it on and I made it maybe 5 minutes. I need to give it another shot. I really want to watch all of them on a long flight and just go for it.
Yeah, they could do that.
That's going to be my
Yeah.
mission. Sorry. So you
Okay.
saw Elijah Wood, and then who else do you see?
So I lock eyes with Elijah Wood, and then I see Sean Astin, who I have seen at cons before, but I'm just too scared to like go up to him and like say hi, you know? So now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in a room with him, like specifically to meet them. So like I say hi to everyone. But when I look at Elijah Wood, like, I mean, he has those piercing blue eyes, and in the movie, like there's so many times where like, you know, there's a lot of focus on his face and those eyes. And I'm like, I look at him and immediately I like start to break. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm just like, and then he knows who I am. He's like, "Oh my God, like we love Dora, like all these things." And then even that acknowledgement of him knowing like who I am, he knows the show, like that, like even now, like I feel like my heart's gonna collapse. Like that was just like such a cool, surreal moment for me. Sean is holding Dora in my picture. I've posted this picture like twice already. Probably will post it again next year. But it's like I need to frame it because it's so good. It's the 4 main hobbits, me and Dora in this photo, and it's just like perfection.
Did your
And
husband want to get in it?
No, I wouldn't let him, even if he wanted to. This is my photo. And I left and immediately started like ugly crying, and I was like, I'm gonna need a minute. Like it was just like such, you know, and we feel these moments too. Like when people come up to me and they start crying and they apologize, I'm like, hey, like I get it. Like I get those. We all have our people and our connections with a show or with a movie that we may not be able to explain what that connection is or how it makes us feel or how it impacted us in our lives, but it's there.
There's characters that would have lived
Oh
with us
my
at the darkest
For
times.
sure. And like those feel, and just to acknowledge that, right? It just makes what we do or people in this industry in every capacity, right? It gives you so much joy because there is a reason and a purpose of why we decide to be a part of this crazy industry, and to be able to create that for somebody and also to get it back, right, in other ways is just so beautiful.
That's so cool that they did that for you.
Oh yeah, I know. Like top 5 things that ever happened in my life. In my top 5.
Can we fire through some fan questions?
Oh yeah.
What was it like being on a show that really launched Nickelodeon into the stratosphere, and how did Nick react to it?
I think it was amazing. I think where I really realized I was a part of like the Nickelodeon company, I guess. They had an upfront in New York. And I
What's
was
an upfront?
It was like where they showcased all the executives, and they have all
new
the big
shows.
actors that are creating probably all the revenue come and present all these things, right? And I was a part of that. And I was a teenager at the time, and I understood that.
What other shows are there at that time?
Zoe 101. She wasn't there, but she was supposed to be there. But I think there was maybe someone else from there. Little JJ was there. Ned Z Classified was a part of that too. Miranda Cosgrove was there. So sweet, so nice. And then it was me. And like for me, obviously I was like, you know, it's just me. I'm Dora, voice actor. I'm not like, you know, one of them, like that nobody really knows my face. But I did feel really cool. I'm like, oh wait, like that means they think I'm important. like at least the executives or like, the company. And that's when I personally realized like, oh, okay, like I'm doing something like right or like I'm doing great in their eyes. So that felt really cool to me.
It's so wild you think that because Dora was
Yeah.
probably bigger than all of those shows.
I don't know. Was it? Maybe. I don't know. Like numbers what? I have no idea. Like
I think so, numbers wise and just globally impact wise
right.
of your Dora is branded everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't know. But that
Toys,
moment I was
snacks,
like
collaborations.
that's true. I don't know. But yeah. I mean all those shows did great, but yeah, Dora, I mean for the animation, it was pretty I felt good to be there.
That's cool.
Yeah. What was the second half of that question?
How did Nick appreciate it? Like,
Oh
did
yeah.
they?
I think they never tell you,
They don't want to give it to you.
yeah, they don't say they don't say much, right? Because the less we know, kind of like, the better, I guess. But I think they appreciated it. I hope so.
What's your thoughts on Dora and Friends Into the City, the live action Dora, and the 2024 Dora series?
Dora and Friends Into the City. I am so ashamed to say that I never watched it. And I think it's because it was probably during that time where I was finishing college and, figuring out my life. And I was very
Away from the industry.
away but just from Dora in general. I didn't even want to know. I didn't want to see. I didn't want to be a part, right? I'm trying to create my identity outside of Dora at that time. So I didn't even look at it really. But I heard great things. I heard a lot of people loved it. When it came to the live action, it did take me a few years to watch the first one that came out in 2019. But when I did watch it, I loved it. To my surprise, I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, but I thought they did a great job. Isabella is amazing as Dora. I would love to meet her one day, and I think the writing and it was very funny too. And I feel like a lot of people who grew up with the show appreciated the like jokes that they made about Dora, like looking at the TV and talking, like all those little things. I think they really did a service to the fans for that one. So for the second one, there was a second live action that came out last summer. Was it last summer?
Last summer.
Yeah, last summer. That one I cried my eyes out.
The Search for Sol Dorado?
Yes. Like that I think was just like a love letter to the entire legacy of Dora. And my husband has a great ear for music and references. And he has taught me a lot to hear those things. So when I was watching the movie, I could hear it in the background soundtracks and the music, the notes to the intro song of the original show. So little things like that, little details in the background that I notice are from the OG series. And I just loved it all. And I thought it was such a different take, right? It was more kind of like a Indiana Jones kind of feel. And Diego was a part of that. It was a totally different movie and a totally different take. And I love both of them so much. But yeah, I think they did a great job and a great service to the live actions for sure. Because you never know, right? Sometimes the live actions are like, well, wait, what?
Sometimes they want to stray away from the concept,
Yeah.
do something completely new.
Exactly. But no, I loved both of them. So they were in great hands. And I'm happy about that for sure.
When you first met your husband, I assume you guys didn't know much about each other. At what point do you blow his mind and tell him what you were?
So we've actually known each other for a long time.
He still doesn't know.
I know, right? Has no idea. I met him when I was around like 7 or 8. So right about the time I got cast as Dora.
Wow.
He's a year younger than me. He has an older sister who's my age. And I was friends with her. She's till this day, I mean, now my sister-in-law, but we've been friends since then. So we've always been very close, but I've never really had a relationship with him, even though I was like best friends with his older sister. And granted, he was hanging out with another group, even though he was a year younger, he had his own, brothers and sisters. Their groups normally don't
mingle
until later on in life, which is kind of what happened. So in my mid-20s, another Disney plug, my sister-in-law also loves Disney, and she had just started going during this time. She didn't grow up. Or maybe she did. She didn't go as much as I did, so she was going a lot more during this time. And she was like, hey, I'm going to Disney. You want to come? And I was like, yeah, okay. I think I'm going to go. So, and we kind of disconnected for a few years. So this was kind of like us coming back together. And so I was like, yeah, let's do it. I want to build this friendship back up, and we haven't talked in a while. So she's like, oh, and these people are going to go too. And I knew her brother. I knew the other people. I haven't talked to them in a while, but I was like, oh, it's fine. I don't care. Whatever. We're going to Disney. It's going to be fun. And that's kind of like where we started to become like friends and actually talk. And I was like, oh, okay, you're not a younger brother. You're an actual person who has feelings and like all of these things. Um, and yeah, and then after that, shortly after that, we started dating. We did break up for a little bit, got back together. He actually never asked me to be his girlfriend again,
What the heck?
but then proposed. It was like
What a gamble.
crazy thing. Crazy. But yeah, here we are, 6.5 years later, married. And he's the best. He's the greatest support, and he does not care. So he's known I was Dora for years. He has a little sister also who grew up watching Dora, and he remembers watching it with her. And he knew it was me, but like he's like, no, I didn't think you were cool back then. So like, whatever. So, like, and when we had reconnected, well, on that Disney trip, we didn't talk about that at all. And like, he was never the type of person to ask about it, make me do the voice. Like, if I brought it up or talked about it, like he was fine talking about it, but he didn't push or show any interest in that part of my life. And for me, I liked that because he wanted to know who I was. What was I doing? Did I have a 401k like set in place, or like all these like normal like crazy things, like to make sure I was like set up to be
A person.
a person. Like, I didn't have that before. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I was like, oh, okay, I like this person. And then it turned into love, and he's my husband now.
And he's great.
And he's great. Yeah, he's really great.
What are you up to now? You live in Los Angeles.
I live in Los Angeles.
Is being here helping with auditions and going out for roles?
That's the hopes, right? I mean, I've been here like 2 months, so I have to really sit down and kind of figure out how I do that. I have met my agent in person, so I have an LA agent now. Once before, so I have to set time to meet him again and kind of go over and see what I can do, right? I have been able to go out for some auditions that are only LA local, which have been great.
Oh, that's cool.
But right, that's what my main goal is I know things are happening here, and I just want to be available and be here for whatever it is. If I have to travel back to New York or anywhere, I just feel like things are still happening here. And through the conventions, I have become very close with Tara Strong and Richard Horvitz, and they have been amazing support. And I mean, overall, they're like my dearest friends. I love them so much, aside from, all the voices and crazy things and connections that we have, because all three of us were on Nickelodeon shows on the same time. But I never met them. They knew each other, but I never met them, and I've always wanted to meet them. That's how I kind of started talking to Tara, because I was like huge on Fairly Odd Parents. Like, that was my show. I loved it. And every time I had to fly to LA for awards or whatever it was with Nickelodeon, I would go to the studios and I would always ask, is the team here? Is there anyone that I can meet? Any of the voice actors? You just missed them. And I'm like, no. Like, so many years I've been trying to meet her and anyone on the show, and I just it never happened. And when I saw her name at a convention that I was going to be at, I was like, wait, this is so cool. So I sent her a DM, and I was like, I don't know if she's going to see it, but if she does, at least, when I see her in person, I already started that conversation. And she immediately like wrote me back. She was like, oh my God, hi. And yeah, that was kind of my intro to her. And I just looked up to her for so long. And then meeting Richard, and they've not only been such great friends, but also, to me, I feel like mentors. They've been helping me so much. And it's something I didn't have also, like being in New York, growing up, doing Dora, I was kind of like alone. And I didn't have other people within the industry doing what I was doing, able to tell me their experiences and tell me like, hey, you should be doing this actually, or why aren't you doing that? Or maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Like, I didn't have any of that. It was just me and my mom, and kind of we're just going with the flow.
Seeing what makes the most sense.
Yeah. So and that's important within the industry. You need to have people who you can like ask questions and be like, "Hey, does this sound right to you?" Or "What do you think I should be doing?" So it's to me, it's been such a blessing to have them in my corner to be able to guide me and give me, advice or, all of the things on top of, having a great friendship with them. But that's something that I never had, and I'm so thankful for them. And with Tara, she's amazing. She's doing all of these amazing things, and she started this a Voicelings
Voicelings.
community, and she has graciously let me be part of it, and it has been super fulfilling, like to be able to teach other, aspiring actors, voice actors, everything that I know, and it kind of has helped me feel more confident and helped me be more um secure, like I don't know, to be like, "Hey, like, I'm actually pretty good. Like, I can listen to someone and, like, hear certain things and help people be better, but also I can help myself be better too." So I've been getting a lot, from it.
I was in
Uh,
the Voicelings
yeah.
chat last week.
Oh, were you?
It's crazy to
Yeah.
see actual industry people and just asking real questions and just being
Yeah.
involved and helps build your community up.
It's so great. Yeah, and, like, as much as we're giving, we're also getting too, and that's kind of the purpose, right, of the community. Like,
Because it
we're
jogs your
all
brain
learn
and everything.
yeah, and we learn from each other. And it's just they're all amazing. I taught a class, I do one-on-ones,
So people can
and
book you on Voicelings, right?
yes, for a
Wow.
one-on-one coaching sessions, privates, and then I did a group coaching session, a few weeks ago, like last month, I think, and that was great. That was so awesome. I mean, like, I was like I surprised myself. I was like, "Wow, this is like," you see people, you give feedback, and you see people, like, getting better and making smarter choices in their acting and things, and it's just, like, so cool to see that you're helping, and that you have the knowledge to help, right? Because
Yeah.
at the end, I have been a part of this for so long, and I do, I know some things, right? And if I can give back and help other people, then I would love to, and I am. So it has been very fulfilling for me to do that. So yeah, that's one thing I've been doing since I moved here, which is
Yeah.
great.
Literally trading secrets. It's
Yeah,
with the people who are doing it.
yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of things I don't know, right? So like then, which is great. If people ask me something and if I don't know, I'm like, I don't know. Let me find out. Let me ask Tara. Let me ask someone that Tara knows that or whatever. So um, it's just really great to be a part of that. And Tara's the type of person where she she really does help. It's not just like, hey, like here, we'll coach you or whatever. No, she wants to make sure you know every step of how to get in the business to audition. Like she covers everything. It's not just like, oh, let's teach you just acting and leave it at there. No, she's going full picture and really helping in every step of the way.
On top of all of
Yeah.
that, I was surprised at how much technical advice there is.
Yeah, because
That's a huge help.
yeah, and because with after COVID, we kind of claim that responsibility now. Auditioning from home or working from home, we're expected to know those things. But how do we know those things? Who are we asking? We're talking to AI or like we have to, consult someone who knows all like YouTube, but it's a lot. It's a lot of information that maybe sometimes you can't get off the internet or you're not sure what are the casting directors really looking for? How am I supposed to sound? Like there's so many questions where you can get lost and feel like, "Ugh, I'm never going to be able to do this."
Right.
But to have a community and to have people like Tara, it really helps because there is a place to ask and you know that the information you're getting
Accurate.
is accurate.
100%. It's real.
Yeah. And if we don't know, we will tell you, hey, we don't know. Things are changing. Let me find out for you. Like it's a very honest and open uh, thing, which I really appreciate.
What other cons do you have coming up? Where can people come see you?
I'm doing one in Alaska.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's just crazy. In next weekend in Anchorage. So if you're from Anchorage watching, come and say hi. I am so excited. The con is I haven't met the promoter or anyone there, but they seem very generous and they're taking us on like this cruise to see the glaciers. So gonna be awesome. On top of meeting all the fans over there. And then I'm actually I have been booking conventions on Long Island and in New York now that I moved to LA.
Naturally.
Right. So I'll be going there in June for one in White Plains, I believe. And then in November for my birthday weekend, I will be back in New York. And I'm laughing because this last November for my birthday, I made everyone, I was like, hey, this is my last birthday shebang.
We're not doing
like,
this again.
then after that, like all my birthday celebrations will be in LA. And then I got this con on my birthday weekend in New York, on Long Island, in Melville. And I'm like, no, they just ruined everything. Now I have to have celebrations in New York, which is fine. But yes, so on Long Island, I'll be back in November for my birthday in Melville. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming by. Thanks for talking and opening up and sharing your
Joe.
story.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is so fun. And I have to sign this Dora Pop over here.
I'm so excited. I'm
So
going to add it to
cute.
my wall.
Yay.
Where can everyone find you?
So I try to be everywhere. Instagram, it's at Kathleen Herles. TikTok, Kathleen Herles. YouTube, it's the Kathleen Herles, because someone already has Kathleen Herles. Who? I don't know. But I'm the Kathleen
You are
Herles.
the. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks, Joe. I
Cool.
appreciate it.
See you guys. That was great.